existing security camera format, then this would be understandable, but I don't see why it's here in a purpose-built FPV camera. Anyway, so that is the menu system. Okay, and now I'm using the Sky Plus, and if I turn wide dynamic range on and off here, you'll see it doesn't make anywhere near as much difference as it did on the Eagle. This sort of gives me the impression that they may be intentionally exaggerating the effect of the switching on the Eagle, because it should be at least this good, I would have thought. It's not that bad with it off here. So I don't know, maybe it's a bit of marketing to make you go, wow, when you switch it on. Who knows? Okay, so it's about a week and a half later now, and I have replaced this DVR unit, so I have 3 of these now. Well, one of them doesn't work, I suppose. And I've attached the cameras on there with double-sided tape, and they are looking fairly secure. I'm not going to do any super crazy flying like this, of course, just in case it, I think a decent crash would rip something off. And on the back here we have a bunch of wires, and just sort of yellow ones going from the camera to the DVR, and then we have a few steps of negative and positive to power everything. And I have a 2-cell LiPo on there to give it power, and connects up like that, all out of the way of the prop, hopefully. So I just thought I'd give you a look at this before I go out and do the testing, because, you know, in a few minutes it could be falling little pieces all over the grass. So, yeah, anyway, hopefully it stays intact and I can use this in any future tests if I so need to. I started off with just a little test walking around the house. It was quite a nice sunny day today, so it gave me the opportunity to test how it does facing the sun. And you can see right away that it does very, very well. It reduces the blob of the sun to a much smaller point, and you get a lot more detail in the clouds as well. In this particular footage, the settings of the Sky Plus have been customized. I copied somebody's settings that I found on a YouTube video that worked out very well for me, and I noticed that it was putting up a pretty good fight compared to the Eagle, so I thought I'd just do this first before I reset it to the defaults, because I thought the defaults probably wouldn't work as well. But if anybody's interested in exactly what the settings were for the Sky Plus, in this case, I'll put a video, I took a little video so that I could revert to those settings afterwards, and I'll put a link to that video in the description so you can see what the settings were. Now here's some footage taken with both cameras set to all defaults, so this is how they would come out of the box. It's important to note that the Sky Plus comes out of the box with wide dynamic range off, and the Eagle comes with wide dynamic range on by default. So it's not really a fair comparison. So after this, I switched the Sky Plus wide dynamic range on and left all the other settings at defaults. But I thought I'd just show you this, because the Sky Plus is still not doing too bad, I think. Now here's a low light situation. I didn't really do much of this because this is not really the focus of the Eagle. It's supposed to be a bright light sort of daytime camera. But I thought I'd just a little bit of it. And you can see it does very well, probably due to the wide dynamic range being quite good. It does switch into black and white much quicker than the Sky Plus, of course. The Sky Plus is actually IR sensitive. Here's a little more of what I guess you could call low light testing. I just pointed it at the sunset and recorded it for as long as the DVR would go, which was about an hour and a half. And you can see, this is actually sped up at the moment, but you can see if you look at the building in the distance, you can see more of the details on the side of the building in the Eagle view than you can on the Sky Plus view. And I'll just speed up the rest of it here from this point so you can see the way it changes all the way to darkness. So after having gotten some footage by just walking around, I felt a little bit more comfortable about risking maybe breaking one of these cameras, or even for this, even one of the DVRs again. And I strapped it to my mini quad like this, and I flew around for a bit. And I've arranged the 3 images that you'll see in the next screen like this. So there's the Sky Plus with default settings except for wide dynamic range on, will be in the top left. In the top right you'll see the Eagle with default settings. And in the bottom, since I had it available and I was using this one to fly with, I thought I might as well record this as well, and I'll put this in the bottom as just a small picture. This is the Runcam Swift, and I set this one up on an overcast day to just some settings that I thought were good. So it's not really set up for a sunny day as such, but it still does pretty well. So most of what I'm doing in this flight is trying to give it scenes where there are large ranges of contrast, which usually means facing towards the sun and putting something in between you that has a dark side to it. No, not like Star Wars. I mean, you are on the dark side of the tree, or whatever it is that's in the way. So that's what I'm doing here, I think. And I'm also, at one point I go and look at the pink. There's some trees with pink leaves, actually leaves, not flowers. They look like flowers because they're so pink. But I just wanted to sort of get a look at the colour of those, I think. And I also did some flips just to see how quickly the brightness can adjust when you flip. And the end of your flip, you're looking straight at the sun. You want that to sort of adjust the brightness quickly in that situation. Immediately after this, I took the DVRs off and I put the Xiaomi HD camera on, and I flew around to most of the same spots that I just visited in this video. And I'll put a link to that video in the description if you want to have a look at what this looks like from an HD camera at this time of day with this angle of the sun and this sort of weather and everything. Just for comparison, I mean. I think you agree that in pretty much any situation, the Eagle gives you a much better viewing experience, much more pleasant viewing experience. Here we can see that the Eagle takes a little bit longer to adjust the brightness when you finish. There's a bit of a trade-off, of course, because the result is not as good for the Sky Plus. Well, we're getting near the end of the footage that I have to show you, so I suppose while we're looking at this, I can summarise my thoughts about this camera. I really like it. I think I was going to say it's a tad expensive at $55 as it was about 2 weeks ago when I started making this video, but I just noticed that it's actually $55 now on Banggood and also on Runcam's site as well, so I think that's pretty good. The best way I could describe this viewing experience is it feels less like I'm viewing something through a camera and more like I'm actually looking at it in person. Just because of the way the wide dynamic range works, closer to the way the human eye works, and when you're looking at cameras like this you realise how very good the human eye does actually do this kind of thing. And it also gets the colours more accurate to reality as well. So both of those two things put together, I feel make it really, really nice experience. I did also fly my quad using this camera as the FPV camera because I wanted to check the latency, and I actually got halfway through my second battery before I remembered what I was supposed to be checking, which kind of tells you that the latency is not really an issue. And I did do some sort of fast flips and rolls and everything, and maybe if you were a super pro like the Rotorite guys, maybe you might notice the problem, but for my level of skill, it was not an issue at all. So yeah, I think you can see the rest of what you need to know by looking at these side-by-side comparisons, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a buy. Looks like I have a little more time to build here, so I'll just mention a few of the cons that I came across as well. I think I've mentioned all of these actually, but the old case style, so that's the case that they give you on the Owl Plus and the Swift with the little nipple bits on the side of the case. I like that case style much better than the one that they have on the Eagle. The OSD display, when you're changing the settings for the camera, the text as we saw is too thin and needs a black background to be able to see properly. Not a huge deal. And also the cable that is now a 6-pin cable for the OSD menu. That kind of sucks. I don't know what I had to do that. The old cable with 2 pins was great. And I also found that when I actually started using it, the 6-pin cable, because it has 6 wires going through it, it's quite thick and it's very stiff. So it's hard to, once you put your camera inside your quad, you're trying to plug the OSD cables in from the back. It's really hard to bend the new thick cable in and plug it into the back of your camera inside the quad. Whereas the old cable, just two wires inside, was quite flexible and very easy to do that with. I was actually hoping to get this video up a day earlier, but my laziness kind of paid off in a way because the next day was very, very overcast. So that gave me an opportunity to do just one more little test to see how things look on a not so sunny day. And it's actually raining as I'm walking around here, of course. What else? I should stop complaining about that after having one nice day. But yeah, I guess you can see for yourself. Yeah, look at it. What does it look like to you? Anyway, hope you found this informative. Thanks for watching. So, we've finally had some patches of fine weather here lately. I say patches because it has not been completely fine. It's just doing that thing where it cycles between raining and sunny every hour or so. But that's better than completely raining, isn't it? So I've been taking this opportunity to do a little bit of FPV testing of some planes. And one reason I wanted to try this was because I have a couple of planes that I intended to FPV and I have not yet. But now that I have that nifty little air chain thingy, it makes it very easy to switch or just quickly stick an FPV unit onto the plane and get it flying. So that's one reason I've been doing this. And another reason is that I also now have a pair of flat shark goggles. So they're very easy to perch up on your forehead and just quickly switch between line of sight and FPV in the middle of a flight, which is not so easy to do with the face box kind of goggles. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. This video is probably not going to be anything very exciting, but I'm just so happy that we've been getting some sunshine at least here. So the first test I did, this plane, obviously I have flown this one FPV before, this is not new, but it occurred to me that I had not done a range test. So I wanted to fly it out as far as I could and see whether the video would give out first or the control would give out first. And I was only flying with the normal, I was not using the helical antenna on the receiver, I was just using the normal spiral head, circularly polarized globally thingy that comes with the flat shark goggles. And I managed to get up to 1.6 kilometers with no problems on the video, and I actually kind of forgot that I wasn't using the helical, it was going so well. But at that point I lost control, and I'm just showing you this photo because I wanted to point out where the antennas are. I have one of them up there, and the other one is embedded in the wing at right angles. The camera was originally not that close to them. The camera was originally slung underneath the front here, and you can see the holes where it had the Velcro there, but unfortunately that, on a crash, that ripped this little square that ripped out, so I put it over here, and it's helping running things. And you'll also notice that, I don't know if anybody's watching this, saw my other video where I was flying this FPV, but I used to use this Runcam 2 as my FPV camera by using the AV out to plug into the video transmitter, but you'll see here that I'm not doing that anymore. I'm using a dedicated forward cam, and the reason was that in one of my earlier trips when I was going up to test the range, I got about a kilometre away, everything was going very, very well, and then all of a sudden, I was looking at the run cam splash screen that the camera shows when it starts up. So I wasn't very impressed with that because the video didn't come back. All I could see after the splash screen went away was static, and so I had to go out there and try and find it, which I fortunately did, and it wasn't crashed. It wasn't damaged, so that's fine. So I will never again use this camera as my sole video link to fly FPV by. I will use it as an HD camera to record video, which is very good at, but I'm not going to use it for FPV. I'm going to use a proper full camera like this for that. Anyway, so let's have a look at a bit of the video that I got there, and I'll just speed it up. Not really exciting, but let's have a look anyway. Oh yeah, and another reason that I'm uploading this particular test is that I uploaded a video a while ago where I got 2.3 kilometers on my quadcopter with this Sky radio, and a lot of people got excited and thought, wow, that's great, I can do that too. And I think that I might have just got a little bit lucky with that one, because when you put the antennas into the wing, like I have done in this case, it seems to give you much less range. I'm not really sure if that's all it is, or maybe each receiver has better or worse characteristics that helps one of them perform better than another one. But whatever the reason, there's no way I'm going to get any more than 1.5, maybe 1.6 kilometers at the most with this particular receiver and setup. So I just wanted to sort of give a little bit of caution to anybody who thought they might be able to go out and fly 2.5 kilometers or something with one of these radios. Might not be as lucky as I was that time. So that half round shed on the bottom left there is the 1.3 kilometer mark. So I'd circle around the shed just to check that my video was good in every angle. And at that point, I lost control briefly, so I decided to come straight back. I was only running with a 1,000 milliamp hour battery, so I didn't really have much flight time overall. And it was actually my second flight. My first flight I got to about 1.5 kilometers at the end of that dirt road just beyond the shed. I actually cut the flight short a little bit because I didn't like the look of those clouds on the horizon. I've learned not to underestimate how quickly they can arrive. Well, there goes that little patch of blue sky that was giving us the sun before. Come back, blue sky. Oh, that sucks. So the next plane I tested was the ready-made RC Mako, otherwise known as the Hobby King Sky Ray, I think. And this being the second plane that I ever had, it had a pretty tough time in the early days, and the nose cone is supposed to be on there, and both of them in fact are completely destroyed. So it still flies okay like this, and hopefully don't crash into anything hard and punch the battery. But it flies fine, and I kind of forgot that this video transmitter was only 25 milliwatt one, but I didn't go too far away anyway. So nothing really interesting about this from a testing perspective. I just wanted to try this plane FPV because that's what I thought it to do, and I had never actually done it yet, so I'll just show you a little bit of footage from that. I can just get this issue with the battery figured out, and I'll give it another flight. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, it feels like you're flying a fighter jet or something. You can just do rolls really quickly, and a lot of the time when I was turning, I found that I was about 90 degrees almost, at 90 degrees horizontal to pull a nice high G turn. So it was all around quite fun to fly. Yeah, so just a camera issue with this. Well, look at that, it's raining again. And there goes my blue sky, sneaking away into the distance again. I suppose overall it's better to have some sunny patches than none at all, but God, this is annoying. Well, I saw this plane kit on Banggood a while ago, so I thought I'd give it a try. I haven't tried any planes of this style yet, and they look kind of interesting. In fact, the most interesting one that I've seen is the Alula glider, sort of slope sort of thing, which looks really cool, but it's a little bit expensive, so I thought I'd get this on instead. This is still not actually that cheap, I think. It's $40, not bad, I suppose. And like I said, it's from a CW hobby place. That last time I looked at their webpage, they didn't have anything at all. But it looks like they've fixed that now. They do actually have something on their website. And you can see they've got some other planes there. This is what I had before, I think, there. I don't know why this Wing 2 has gone up to $53 versus $22, especially when on Banggood you can get that for... Hey, on Banggood you can get that a lot cheaper. I think it's like $25 or something on Banggood or whatever. They still haven't quite figured out their website, I think, because when I click on the second page... Oh, that's weird. It works before. Anyway, so they have other planes there. They've got bolter kits too. I think I've seen some of these on Banggood, so if you want to get them a little bit cheaper, I think you might try Banggood. Anyway, so EPP, it's about 1 meter in wingspan, and the specs there, and I think I'm going to try this with the slope soarer again. I really like the way that when you're building a slope soarer, you just don't have to mess around with half of the annoying stuff like the motor and the ESC and the battery and all, mounting all that stuff. You just stick some servos on, and a little battery and a receiver, and that's it. So that's what I'm going to try and do, and again, they're using a It's a EPP which seems to be softer than the ones that the Hobby King EPP frames use, at least texture on the bonsai. They seem to be a little bit more less elastic, I think is the term I would use. Because I noticed that when I bend the elevon up like that, it pretty much just goes back exactly to where it was, like a rubber band. It just sort of goes boing, back exactly where it was. This one is perfectly straight. I can't really show you exactly down the edge, but that one is very, very straight. This one has a tiny little bend in it, and also a rather egregious spelling mistake. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be lightning because we've got this sort of lightning pattern here, and also lightning here, right? So it's definitely intended to be lightning. At least that's my take on it. And this one has a little bit of a kink, a little bit of a bend in it at the end. It's not a big deal, but I just thought I'd mention it. It's not perfectly straight, but it's the kind of bend that I can't even really get it on camera to show you. So yeah, it's just a little curve up there at the tip. And again, I'm going to have to. These are way too stiff. So you pull on one end, and the other end. Oh, it's not too bad. This one. But I think what I'm going to have to do is, same as before, I'm just going to have to drag, very carefully just drag a box cutter knife sort of thing along here, just to loosen up this hinge. So I've got the servo cavities on the bottom, and I'm going to cut the little top area of that out and put them in from the top. So that's the wings. There's two spars, and they've given you cutaways for the two spars to go in, so that's this line and that line. And they've also given you a cutaway for the servo cable as well, so you don't have to cut those ones on this one. We have a tail piece, which is just a flat piece of EPP, and then we've got this rather annoying to construct one. So I'm not sure how you can construct this, but I guess holding it together with rubber bands while the glue dries would probably work. So the instructions there is like this. And there's no glue in the kit, is there? No. But I found that Gorilla Glue works really well on EPP. So the idea is that to get everything in, you're supposed to cut a little door like that, and I guess you could hold that together with the rubber band while it's flying, at least. So that's what I'm going to try. In fact, what I'm going to try first is I'm going to try and see if I can get the centre of gravity close enough to the front without this pod, and if that works I'll just fly it without this pod, but I have a feeling that it's going to be very difficult to get CG fly forward enough without it, so I'll probably end up having to put it on even if I don't have a motor in it. So there's the spars there, two spars, and for the push rods they've given you one single piece of this wire, steel wire or push rod bar. Looks like about 1.5 millimeters inside. It's not the tiny thin one, because it has to be doing a little bit more pushing. I think it looks like about 1.5 millimeter diameter. And you get all these little steel thingies in there for the servo connections. And the propeller, which is a 7 by 365 prop. And some little aluminium washer things, which I'm not sure what they're for, and prop savers with rubber bands. And of course, a bit of plywood for the motor to sit on. And some actuator horns that are a little bit larger than the ones that were in that other DW Hobby kit, which were really soft and supple, but unfortunately they are still quite soft. I'll give them a try, and I think they'll work okay on this one because the servo position and the position of the hole in the elevon that they've given you are lined up much better, and they're actually larger as well. Still quite thin and still quite soft, but still quite sexy. But you can see that the servo is going to be sticking out this side here, and the hole that it needs to go into is exactly in that line. So it should be pushing and pulling much more directly against the strong direction of this rather than trying to push it sideways and bend it. So I think that looks fine. These things, I've never tried these. I tried them once, I didn't like them, so I changed my mind, but I probably won't use those. So that's about all there is to it. I suppose I'll start putting it together, right? Yeah, I think I've got the hang of what to do with these elevons when they're too stiff out of the box. You just take a knife like this and just ever so lightly just sort of drag it across the join, and all you're trying to do is just break the surface, the very top part of the surface, and then try and bend it all the way back like that. And when you get to about here, all of a sudden it'll go crack and open up. So all you've done is split the thick part of the EPP, the meaty part of the join, and then you're left with just a very thin layer on the top here, but it doesn't break through, so it's not going to fall off. But that gives it just the right sort of nice, light movement. So yeah, it's a little tip that might help you. If you want that, here's another little tip about that. You'll find that when you open it up and do that little crack thing, it'll then